Welcome to Real Health with me, Karl Henry. Folks, aging when we get into our 40s and our 50s can be seen as a time of slowing down, of unwinding, of relaxing a little bit and letting your health go. But it doesn't have to be. I'm joined by producer JJ Clarke to run through the 5 simple ways to age healthier. After 40, after 50, after 60, at any age, you can age better. So JJ, who is very young, he's the youthful one in the room today, is going to fire some questions at me for all the over 40s, including myself in the room. How's it going?
Very good. So this is about aging. So whatever age you are that you feel that you're slowing down a wee bit. First up, lots of people want to know how they should exercise when they hit 40 or 50.
I'm going to rob Dr. Roseanne or Professor Roseanne Kenny's advice here, which is move more, not less, as you get older. It's a brilliant line. People think when they get older, they should move less, reduce their movement over the course of the day in terms of exercise. The reality is opposite, actually, that you need to move more. Now, that type of movement can change because as you get older, you begin to creak a little bit. So you have to take that into account, obviously, but you need to keep moving. The key thing to establish here for people is this, that we get older, kind of middle-age spread tends to happen mid-late 30s. For some, it's early 30s. The way society is shifting and changing, we're seeing aging-related issues earlier in the population. So now, like I'm seeing it in clients who are coming in between 20 and 30 years old, they're showing signs of aging that I would never have seen before.
Such as?
Ever. Joint issues, knee problems, hip problems, back problems, flexibility issues, poor strength levels. Stuff I'd never see, ever.
Right.
We're starting to see it now because of how we're living as a society. We are moving less, we're more sedentary, we're eating poor, we're generally carrying more weight than we used to. And we're seeing that impact earlier now in terms of that aging process. So normally it would have been mid-30s, but it is getting earlier. That's the first thing. As you get older, what happens is you begin to lose muscle mass and then you begin to gain fat mass, especially if you're a woman. Women, this happens more to than men. They'll have a higher body fat percentage, and it tends to speed up through menopause, which is a big problem. So your body composition is important. It changes as you get older. You begin to get weaker, and then you trip or you fall, and that accelerates the aging process. So if you look at the life arc in terms of aging, muscle mass reduces, fat mass increases, you fall at some stage, be it 50-something, 60-something. If it's in your 40s, that's not great. And when you fall, that accelerates that aging process even further. The other thing to take into account for women mainly is osteoporosis. So 7 out of 10 women who listen to our show will have osteoporosis in their lifespan. So that's a huge number. Now, the thing there is that by moving more as you get older, you're keeping the bones stronger. And that's the best way to manage and prevent osteoporosis is strengthen your bones. How do you do that? You move more. So it's hard to age healthy now. Whether you're 40, 50, 60 or 70 and you want to exercise, you're fighting against it because everything that we surround ourselves with is trying to make you move less. So how we work, how we travel, how we commute, how we are at home. We have I have a robot hoover. I got given one, but we have robot hoovers. We have more and more things to make us do less and less. And by doing less and less, we might be living longer, which we are, we know that. But there's health span and lifespan. Lifespan is living longer. Health span is how many years do you actually live well?
Yeah.
It's no crack being 100 if you're bedbound and you've no strength to do anything.
Yeah.
You want to have a health span to be able to do that well. So that's a very long answer to your question. In terms of how to exercise, okay, so from 40 onwards, there's a couple of things you need to do. One is you have to move on hard or fast enough till you're huffing and puffing. So we talk about that quite a bit. It's got to be intense to get the benefit.
Right.
And not flat out, but it has to be laboured or challenging to make it beneficial. Secondly, you have to lift weights. That is a non-negotiable. Every GP, every consultant, everyone we talk to says the same thing. Yet the numbers for weights are about 1 in 10.
Right, and it just with the edge cases, so the person that's never done weights before, and you're like, you need to work on your bone density.
So you can do a sit stand. So a sit stand is getting up and down out of your chair. That's a squat.
Right.
It's also called a sit stand, but it's actually a squat. You can do a lunge where you can genuflect your knees to the floor and stand back. You can do a wall squat, a press up against a table or against the wall or again on the floor. A tricep dip. You can just stand. Like, regular listeners will know we're passionate for the old standing. The standing on its own is exercise. Lifting stuff, lift the logs, do the housework, lift the shopping. That's all weight bearing exercise. That's all weights. You can go to a gym if you want. Great, please do. You don't have to, because the way that we've all adapted to online content now, so you can do stuff online. My own Instagram, which we put reels up every day. 5 exercises for this, 5 exercises, and we show you how to do it. And it's very simple. So like, it doesn't have to cost money, but you do need to do it. 1 in 10 is the average for doing weights or weightlifting in some way, shape, or form for, say, the 30-plus generation who are actively aging. We need to bump that up. That needs to get higher, because that's how you keep your bones strong. That's how you keep your muscle mass. That's how you keep yourself fit enough to be able to do the things that you want to do when you're 40, 50, 60, 70.
Yeah.
And it comes down to use it or lose it. So whatever exercise you choose, you have to enjoy it, but you also have to have at least one weight bearing session a week where you're lifting something. That's really important. By doing that, that's the tablet for healthy aging. Like, you look at Dan Butler, the Blue Zone doc. People who live in hillier areas are healthier because they're stronger. Hills are hard to walk up and down, keeps you strong. So he flies to Italy and he meets like in this town in Italy where they're going up and down hills. They're very strong. Social connections important. Eating a Mediterranean diet, lots of fish, lots of colour, not a whole lot of red meat. That's important. And then weights, like that. They're your links.
Yeah, your components. And I'm interested. I can hear the listener saying, like, you've got the regularity. So if you're starting out once a week at a minimum, and then I'm interested as well. Where do you get that in? Like, so this is the public service announcement. So you know that if you want to age healthy, watch the content. But where do you go? How do you decipher that information? Where do you start? Do you look for a qualification?
You do, yeah. Like, the content has to come from somebody with a qualification. Like, and we have that chat every time we are approached for a guest. We look, are they qualified? No, we're not having them, no matter how many followers they've got. Like, that's that's important. So yeah, you look at it. They should be showing you their qualifications. You look at my Instagram. The top line under my little picture is BSc, AABS, ACE. I missed one. What's the other one? I can't remember. Anyway,
lots of letters.
They're letters, right? And it's not me showing. It's like, you're here. Here's my qualifications. This is why I can tell you how you should do things. So you look for that. Then you start off easy. That's important. So if you see a video saying do 20 squats and do 5 times that, you'll be crippled for like a week. So ease into it. It should be fun in some way, shape, or form. That's important too. We had Caroline Circuits on recently. Yeah. Look what she's built. Half an hour workouts, simple at home. Like, there's loads of places to go. You got to find some that you enjoy, but the key, you have to do it. And like, if you're worried about doing it on your own, get a friend. Do it as a family, buddy up, jump into a class. Especially in the winter, classes are brilliant because they keep you stronger with a group of people.
Right.
Like, we had a lady on Operation Transformation years. The last series that we did, she was 55. You really would have put her kind of late 60s, early 70s. Okay. She was on a frame. She had a hip replacement. She was on a frame. Couldn't lift the washing. Couldn't lift the logs. Had to have a ramp to get down out of the house. We fixed all that in 8 weeks.
Right.
Like 8 weeks, we took her off the crutch. She was putting the logs, while stepping over the dog, putting the logs into the fire. She was using the stairs instead of whatever. And I've chatted to her since. She's back. She's in the gym. She goes for classes. Like, that's how, no matter what age you are, the rate of improvement is absolutely, it's so dramatic. You'll be blown away by how strong you feel when you're, like, I have another client who, after Christmas, she came back in. She was like, I was taking the decorations down out of the attic, and for the first time ever, I could do it. Without even second guessing it.
And
you're like, that's life changing.
Yeah. Like in these everyday practices, like picking up your kid kind of thing. To jump to the next question, I'm interested as well, because we don't want to go too intense too quickly. The mobility piece. Yeah. So the second question is, for this cohort, what should that look like? Stretching, balance tests?
Okay, so first of all, what is it? Mobility is the body's ability to move, basically, and move freely, right? As you get older, you naturally tighten up. I'm 43 now. I wake up some mornings after a hard swim session and I'm sore. My ability to move my neck where it needs to go is not perfect. It takes, anyway, with age. So men are very poor at doing mobility work. Women are much better at it. Women do like yoga, Pilates, Tai Chi. Yeah. Men generally don't do any of the above. The challenge with it is, as you get stiffer, you're going to put something out that's going to put you out of action. When it puts you out of action in terms of work or life, you accelerate the aging process. So the ability to move freely is really important. How do you test it? There's a few ways. So balance as a tester. Well, ask me about testing in about 2 minutes. We'll cover this first, because there's ways to test your aging health. We'll look at that in a sec. Cool. But mobility is how to improve it. It's yoga. or it's Pilates or Tai Chi, something along those lines, basically. Yoga's brilliant. Pilates is a little harder. I go yoga first. A class is great. I go to it whenever I get time. She'll give it out to me because she listens to the podcast and I haven't been for weeks. I go to a yoga class in Clarke. It's great. I wouldn't do it if I didn't go because I hate it. I don't enjoy it.
It's hard to do on your own, right?
It is. Like, and no matter how you try and distract yourself to do it, just something gets in the way, or you have to do something, or just it's low down the priority list. So go to a class. It makes you do it. Once you're in, you can't leave.
Right.
And it's brilliant. But that is important, like back issues, hip issues, glute issues, or bum and stuff. That all comes from mobility. So even simple things like, I got a client recently, all of a sudden they can look around behind them in the car when they're reversing.
Okay, yeah.
They didn't have the mobility in their neck to be able to move and turn to look, or now they can because they've worked at it, right? So, like, our backs are another thing. You see young parents, but geriatric parents, which is anyone over, I'm going to mess this up, but it's over 35, I think, is geriatric in the parent world. I know.
It's very early.
Listen, I was geriatric, right? So, yeah, when someone says it to you, it's very odd. It's like, oh. But actually, if your mobility is poor, at some stage, you're going to hurt your back lifting your child in or out of something, putting the child up or down, playing. Like, that's where the impact of it is. It's really important. How do you test it? Very basic level. Can you touch your toes?
Okay.
Whether you're sitting or standing, doesn't really matter. That's a very, very, very basic test. And if you are going to try it, don't bounce. If you're standing, put one foot over the other. Try and bring your hands down along your legs and try and get to your toes. Never bounce. Just take it very handy on the way down and very handy on the way back up.
Yeah.
That's how you test it. There's other ways, but that's a very basic way of doing it.
And then for tests, you mentioned balance tests and how we're aging.
There's 4 key tests for aging, right? So, and they are this. One is balance. How long can you stand on one leg with your eyes open?
Right.
And if you can do that for 30 seconds, close your eyes and see how long you can do it for.
Yeah.
Longer you balance, healthier you are. Why? Because if your balance is poor, you will fall and you will accelerate the aging process. If you're a woman over 50 with poor balance, you will fall, and chances are you're one of the 7 out of 10 that have osteoporosis. You will have osteoporosis, you'll break something. So that's why it's important. How do you improve it? Do more of it, actually. Well, do loads of other, like your squats, your lunges, your exercise, but actually do more of it. So when you're brushing your teeth at night, brush your teeth on one leg.
Yeah.
Fixes it. And then alternate your legs every night. And that's the easiest way to do it because it's habit stacking, right? So it's building habits upon habits. That's the first one. Second one is lower body strength testing. So sit to stand. How many times can you tap your bum off the couch and stand back up in 30 seconds? The more you do, the better you're going to live.
How many can you do?
I haven't tested for ages. Is it 24, 25, something like that?
Yeah,
like
so
it's
roughly 1%.
There are, and like without getting too geeky, there are numbers you should be able to kind of
to hit. Okay.
Yeah, but just more the merrier.
Right.
Forget about all that. Just make more the merrier. The more you can do, the healthier you are. So for and you can see that. You've seen a relative at Christmas time. It's a classic time to see it. When they get up and out of a chair, they have to use their hands.
Yeah. Yeah, Jenny.
You should be able to get up and down out. Jenny was saying that.
Jenny was talking about it.
So like getting up and down out of a chair but using your hands is a real symbol of aging well. And if you see someone, I'll be ageist here, who's 80, who can't do it. Look at a frail 80-year-old and a fit 80-year-old. The fit 80-year-old can do it. The frail one can't.
Right.
And that's all strength. That's pure and utter strength. It's being strong enough in your legs to lift yourself up.
But you see young people doing it where they use the handrest to get.
Oh yeah. Well, see that, and that ties into our younger population are aging quicker than anything I've ever seen, and I'm around a while now. Like they are because like that they're sedentary and they haven't got the strength they should have. So that's the second one. Third one is a press up test. How many press ups can you do in 30 seconds? Whether it's modified. I got in trouble on Instagram for saying that recently. Not in trouble is a bit strong, but a few people pushed back, and I responded shortly enough to say that the women have to do modified press ups. They should be all on an even keel. The recommendation for the press up test with modified or not modified comes from DCU. It doesn't come from me. So when I'm saying it on here, that if you're a female, generally, unless you can do them, you do the modified, and if you're male, you do a full press up.
Okay.
Unless you can't.
Right.
We've had women do that test, do full press ups, and do like 15 full press ups. It's been amazing, but they're rare. So that's why they say modified.
Right.
Yep.
Fair enough.
And the final one is cardiovascular, 12-minute walk or run test. How far can you go maximal for 12 minutes? So of all the reels I put up on Instagram, this one got a lot of pushback on this one because the numbers are quite high. Like it depends. You'll see it on my Instagram account, but it depends on your age for how far you should be able to go. But it's like the guts of 2K.
Okay.
It's far enough, and it's a walk or a run, so it's a maximal. It's of all those tests, it's the one that really is maximal.
Yeah.
At the end, you're goosed, like you're pushed.
Yeah, it's like VO2 max.
It's exactly like a VO2 max test, yeah. And if your VO2 max test is normally done on a treadmill or a bike or a rower, this is just doing it over a time frame of 12 minutes. How far do you go? So the importance of those, so if you come to me privately and I've got a concern around your aging ability, I'll test you on all those 4 things, or certainly 3 of them. And I can then guide you and say, okay, look, if you do this for 4 weeks, test them again.
Yeah.
And we test them again, and then they've improved. Then we have them. Then we made them, people realize that this is the benefit of doing it, because you can tangibly see the difference, right?
And it's standardized as well. So you're like, oh, someone my age should be
Should we
getting
do
these
X?
numbers.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like body fat and muscle mass. Like, that's the other part of aging that you can test, which is that, like, your composition. So everyone in Ireland should know 3 numbers: their weight, their muscle mass, their fat mass. Everyone should know them. You should know them. That's just, with an exception, if you are triggered by anything like weight or those numbers, then you should not know them, and that's important.
Focus on other things. Yeah.
Absolutely. Bodywise are a fantastic organisation for helping people who are triggered by that. But on a general population level, people should know those 3 numbers, because if your muscle mass stays where it is, let's start with weight. If your weight stays where it is over the aging process, you're healthier. We gain on average a stone a decade. That's the average weight gain. What that weight is made up of is important. So when I raced Ironmans in my late 20s, I would have been 9 kilos lighter than what I am now.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, my body fat muscle mass is similar enough in terms of my body fat percentages, but like the actual, like,
your composition would have changed.
You change as you grow older. So keeping your weight at a similar level as you grow older is a health indicator. Very basic one, but it's a health indicator. Keeping your muscle mass where it is as you grow older is a key health indicator. How do you measure these 3 things? Smart scales. By keeping your muscle mass, you will age better. If you begin to lose it, you need to eat more protein and do more weights. Your fat mass then is important because it wants to go up as you get older. If you keep it where it is, you're healthier.
Right.
So, like, knowledge is power, right? And we run from knowledge, and like, I have a huge issue with that, because we need to know numbers. What gets measured gets changed or improved. So you have to, like, look at yourself as you're getting older.
Yeah, you shouldn't have an aversion to tracking, in some regard, even if it's not numbers.
That's what we do for a living. Like, people think PTs are deadly. We're not. What we do is we actually just track stuff and show you how to improve stuff and track it again and show you that it's worked. Like, that's really what PTs do. Like, and so like, everyone should know these numbers. They should be commonplace, common knowledge, and we should know them as we get older. And it's a really simple way to age better after 40, 50, 60, whatever.
Right. And with the, this dovetails nicely, because we were talking about mobility. Injury-free, staying injury-free is question 3. How do I stay injury-free in my 40s and 50s? So I suppose in relation to physios.
Go to physio, yeah. So if you haven't exercised for a long time, physio for once over. Get an MOT.
Okay.
Pass the physio NCT.
Yeah.
Just go in. They'll do that. They'll do a full review of you and say, yeah, you're great. Knock yourself out. Or you have a back problem, or you have whatever. Here's a few exercises to fix it. So if you have a concern, that's one way to do it. Secondly is that you look at your mix of movement and that you ensure that you have a bit of everything. So movement should be a pick and mix, right? You should have a bit of cardio, a bit of weights, and a bit of flexibility in your week.
Okay.
So walking, running, cycling, whatever. Weight training, yoga, or Pilates,
Gotcha.
or Tai Chi, or something along those lines. That's the pick and mix. Your movement should be a mixture of all of that to stay injury free. Runners and footwear is important. Getting a gait analysis checked, we've talked about that forever. It's crucial. It's free. It's simple. So, and bar that, you try not to do too much too soon. That's important, because if you do, you're going to hurt. And if you're going into a gym environment, you've got to mind that a lot of the gym environments are pushing people too hard too early. Fine if you're 20, you can take it. Physically, you can take it. If you're 40 and you walk into a gym and you're pushing to your max in your first class, you can't move for a week. There's no crack to that.
Yeah.
Like, an experienced PT or gym will mind you so that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and it's sustainable. Just with this kind of feeds in nicely to question 4, which is this age group, should they be checking in with their GP, a dietitian, so like with nutrition?
You should be checking in with your GP for a blood profile.
Okay.
Know your bloods. I do mine every 6 to 12 months. Depending.
What are you checking for?
Everything.
Okay.
Yeah, cholesterol, B vitamins, thyroid function tests, HbA1c, all of that, everything. Full bro. And like, you don't need to know the number. Your GP needs to know the numbers. So I just book it, pay for it. Yeah, get it done on a regular basis. That's important to do. because they're the markers. If there is something off, that's where you're going to find it.
And they'll highlight, the areas in
You'll know. Absolutely. Now, I know GPs are snowed under, but like it's a really important thing to do. From a nutrition perspective, yeah, where you get it's important. Not necessarily your GP. They will give very basic advice generally. Nothing wrong with that, obviously. But if it's a bit more in-depth or you want something a bit more kind of... Like we see that on our Instagram Q&As. People put in really specific stuff. And I'm like, book an appointment with a dietitian. This is an Instagram account for the Q&A box. Like it's for fairly random, fairly normal stuff. In-depth, big, long question. Like you got to go pay your way with that. Go to an expert. It's specific. And if you want to be well, you have to invest in that. You know what I mean? And like these are all, as we discovered with the tax nerd, these are all health deductible expenses now, which is brilliant. So like, that's important. So GP will give generic stuff, which is great. Dietitian will give very specific, far more tailored stuff, which is good. And then where you get it online is important. It's crucial. Like it's like, like we've Dr. Lauren on later on is going to, Dr. Lauren is going to chat about that generally, because we need more people like that who are coming out against the Insta spoofing that's going.
But I think that's to your point. It's often free. If you pay your way.
Well, actually, it's often free, or if it comes with a code. If it comes with a code, run fast.
Right.
Because the code, all that's happening with the code is a kickback. So the code is a kickback for the Instagram person off the product. So
off
if you
the brand,
use Karl 10. Well, Karl gets 10% when you buy it using that code. So like, if there's a code, run. But where you get that it's qualifications. Look for the qualifications. You should see them. If you don't see them, don't take the advice.
Yeah, and watch out for sales funnels.
List or discovery calls. Can we talk? No.
Yeah. We'll leave
discovery calls for the moment. But yeah. Go.
And final question here is for the 5 steps to age better in your 40s and 50s.
Yes.
This is a time that people want to enjoy, but in terms of changes, whether that be dietary or liquids and solids, so like alcohol and all, minding that.
So
sleep.
Changes from a food perspective are protein intake's important. A quarter to a third of your plate should be full of protein. Of every meal, or certainly two of the 3 main meals a day, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 2 of them should have a quarter to a third of protein. So it's a chicken breast or a bit more. Okay. We need that. We need fish.
What about dairy?
Dairy, I'm a believer in and fan of, absolutely. Now, you go for the best versions of it, the one with the least amount of ingredients on the label.
Okay.
So like yogurt, for example. Like, look at the Irish yogurt brands we have. They're amazing. Why buy something which has loads more ingredients on the label and it's very sugary and processed? The quality of it's important. From an alcohol perspective, little and often. Well, let's edit that out. From an alcohol perspective, balance is important. If you don't want to drink, that's great. If you want to drink, that's great. If you go to the pub every weekend and have 10 pints, that's not great. Moderation is key. Like research is funny. We see research coming which says, red wine is great, white wine is great, and tomorrow it'll be something else is great. Like research often can prove what it's trying to prove, if that makes sense. Yeah, a glass of alcohol with dinner every now and again, that's fine. That's normal, and I don't see it. That's the balanced approach to health and wellness. Like if you want to age better, it's got to be balanced. So like, no matter what approach you take to it, balance is the key thing. As you get older, that balance becomes more important.
You don't want to be, super fit and miserable.
Like we've seen that with some of the Ozempic documentaries lately, where like X person may have lost 10 stone, but they look older and dramatically older than the person they were before because they've taken it too far. Yeah. There's an obsession. And that can be a problem. Like we need a bit of fat as we age.
Yeah.
So like being super low body fat as you get older will make you look older. We need some fat. Our skin needs it. Our body needs it. Body fat is, it's genetically trying to increase for a reason. Yes. It's just the level of it that we have to control. Yeah. So obsession is there's no crack with obsession. So like we all get older, right? That's the thing. Everyone gets older, but how you age, like we all get older, and aging that is a given. How you get older is the controllable there. So you can control that. Like we all know the school reunions. You go to a school reunion. Yeah. You can see who's controlled their aging process and who hasn't.
Who's taking care of themselves.
They're all the same age in the room, yet one will look 10 years older, one will look 10 years younger. And that shows you have a choice in the matter.
Yeah, it's just a palette of life choices, and like, you know, did they take care of themselves health wise? You know, did they smoke and drink, etc. Just finally on the sleep point, because people are coming into this age cohort that their kids are in a more regular sleep schedule.
Yeah, they've come through that really hard phase, hopefully. Although again, we're seeing older geriatric parents who might be in their late 40s or 50s with early 50s with 2 and 3 year olds.
Right.
Like, that's hard. Like that's really hard. Like, from a sleep perspective, oh my God, that's so hard. It depends on the life cycle stage there, right? That's important to say. If you've got young kids, no matter what age you are, you got to suck it up. It's going to be tough, and that's the only way to do it. Or you mind your sleep enough that you prioritize not watching Yellowstone for like 4 seasons or 4 episodes on a Monday night and go to bed at 1 o'clock, like I did. You have to prioritize that and be a bit more adult about it. When you get older and the kids begin to mind themselves a little bit more, there is more rest. You do get a chance to mind yourself a bit better. You just got to pull through until you get to that point. Sleep is crucial, like a sleep cycle, sleep routine, sleep rhythms, getting enough of it, getting enough quality of it. You get into noticing things like mattresses and pillows that you never thought would be sexy and attractive and important, but they're really important. And like, it's like if I sleep in a poor mattress, my back's goosed. It's so important. And mattresses need to be changed every 6 to 8 years, pillows every 2 years or sooner. So sleep health becomes important, and you need to look at that and invest in it. Because you spend so much time there, you know, it's important.
Perfect. Carl, that's our lot.
We could chat health all day, my friend. Absolutely. Folks, as ever, we really hope you enjoyed today's episode of Real Health. You always love when JJ comes in and asks the questions, so we hope you enjoyed today's episode. We're all going to get older. How we get older is down to each and every one of us and the micro choices that we make. Move more, eat a little bit better, apply a little bit of balance, and you will age so much better. You know where we are, at Karl Henry PT on Instagram, Real Health at independent.ie, and on the Irish Independent website. If you like what you heard, don't forget to rate and review, and we'll see you next week for more Real Health. Slán go fóill.